Perfect. Perfect. Perfect.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Isn't It Crazy podcast. I know I took a little break, but I am back, and today I want to talk about video games. This conversation started with my girlfriend and I talking on our way to her job, and I was telling her how this guy, it was like 2 in the morning, and he said that he needed to go to work at 7 in the morning. And one of my friends who we were playing with asked him how old he was, and he said he was 32, 37, I'm not sure. Old enough that my girlfriend said, wow, like, when do you think you're ever going to stop playing video games? And I actually, thinking back, I remember being at work one time and we were talking about Fortnite, and one of the older guys came in and he's like, you guys are talking about video games? And I said, yes. And then he said, oh, like, real men don't play video games, and because that's for kids. And I guess real men also make less money than us, but that's another story for another time. But it struck me that I'm never going to stop playing video games. How old are you supposed to be when you're supposed to quit video games? I'm not even sure. I I guess I'll play with my kids, and like, the vision I have for my future is buying a house and taking a designated like room in there and making it an office slash video game setup kind of thing, like desk at the end, couch, LEDs everywhere, where I could just game with my boys, I guess you could say. And so I'm never going to stop, right? I don't see it as an age thing. I know there's restrictions for how young you could be to play a game. They nobody actually follows them, but they put like M for mature or whatever, but there's no restriction on how old you could be. And should there be a stigma to the older you get, the you should let these childish things go? Like, we all grew up with PS1s, PS2s, and obviously PS3s and 4s, right? But I remember being a kid and my mom could not afford to buy me a PlayStation 2. And every birthday, every Christmas, that's all I ever wanted. And I would like hope to God that's what they got me. And each time it was either clothes or socks. And I was grateful for that too. But deep down in my heart, I wanted a PS2 until like one Christmas, my aunt, I guess she knew what I wanted and she just bought it for me. And that's when I started playing video games. We used to play WWE SmackDown. And I know I played every single Need for Speed game there is. And I just remember that's a way I communicated with other kids, like talking about, are we going to play this game or the other game? I know me and my best friend have ever played Need for Speed Carbon. And it was like, that was the thing to do on the weekends, to play video games with your friends. So I grew up loving video games, and we also grew up with the shittiest quality of video games because it was when this new technology was coming through with computers and stuff like that. So it started with pixels and then it got a little better, but it was still blocky. And now you're talking about the PS5 coming out soon. They have all these new technologies that are coming out that are making the games they're better looking and more immersive and better quality video games. So why would I ever stop playing video games when they're just getting better and better? I think the next step for video games would be live streaming, where they just sell you the controller and you log onto your smart TV and just play the video game. I also think VR is going to go wild. I walked by this place by my house, and it's called Mass VR, and it's just like an old Kmart that they like gutted out. They painted the walls, and then they set up this VR where you could run around and like interact with people, but everybody has their VR headsets and they're shooting each other. So I think the video game section is just going to keep evolving, and I don't want to miss out. And I know a couple of my friends that had kids when they were young. Now we play, I played with them on Fortnite, and you could hear their kids playing like Fortnite while they're playing Fortnite. And it's a cool way to connect with your kids. So I don't think I'll ever stop playing, if you think you have the right age where somebody should stop playing, maybe comment down below and tell me like 45, 55. Or I don't think I'll ever lose that. You know, that kid is always going to be inside of me. And that sounded so fucked up, but that that child at heart is always going to be there, and it's always going to I'm always going to be interested in the new things that are coming up. I know if I see a video game trailer, I'm down to watch it, and then I want to play and I get all hyped up. I'll message my friends who are my age, and they're like, "Yo, let's get this game." I know that happened with Apex. I saw it on Snapchat and I just sent it to the group chat, and these guys were at first like every other game they were playing Fortnite, so they're like, "Ah, this game's not gonna happen," and now that's all we play. That's usually at the end of the night, I'll message them, ask who's on, and like you stay connected with old friends that maybe you wouldn't even talk to if it wasn't for video games. And I think it's pretty cool. It gets competitive as fuck. I remember my stepdad. He didn't hate video games, but he would always say like they were kind of a waste of time. Like you could go out and play soccer. That's what he always would say. Like go play soccer instead of being here inside. But the way video games have shaped the economy, like some kids are playing video games and making millions of dollars by being on Twitch and live streaming. So it became a career. Like some people won't see it and some people will because their love for the game is just going to keep pushing them towards it. So these people made a career out of the things they love. And I think that's amazing. And if you're making millions of dollars, why would you ever stop? Like if you're 33 years old, but you're making 100K by playing some silly video game, and somebody's like, oh, you're too old for video games, but they have a shitty job, and you get to wake up and play and have fun and make more money than they do, who's the dumbass there? Like you have to put everything in perspective. You have to see where it's evolving, and I don't want to miss out. I don't want to miss out on any new technology. I think that keeps you young, like you could connect with the younger people. I've met a couple guys that are maybe 21, and one of the things we talked about wasn't like what I'm doing, because what I'm doing is I'm 26. I'm kind of leaving that like going out scene. But when I'm out with younger people, I get to talk to these guys about video games, and it just seems like it's a great way to connect, meet new people. So I'm never going to stop. I think the first thing I'm going to do is integrate video games to my child's life as a way for us to connect, and we'll see where it goes. I'm excited to see where VR goes. I'm excited to see what happens with the PS5. I don't play Xbox. Xbox One kind of let me down, so I'm just going to stick to PS5 for now. And I'm excited to see what other games come out. Like I love Apex. I love Battlefield. At one point, I even loved Fortnite. I suck at it, but these games get integrated into who you are, like who your friends are, and what you guys talk about, how you guys communicate, how you guys connect. So I think video games are awesome. If you find somebody that has something negative to say or say you're too old for that, they're just full of horseshit. Like they don't understand. Maybe they had an Xbox for all I fucking know, but I love it. Whether it's sports, racing, shooting games, even like the crazy ones that are like you're in a haunted house and you're just killing demons. Fuck it. It's awesome. And I think more people should game. And I know it's a very big guy base, but I think girls would love it too. But yeah, they're too busy on their makeup tutorials and shit like that. So we'll leave it at that. So closing thoughts, I'd say you're never too old to game. I'm never going to stop gaming. As long as you are responsible, you don't make it a habit that you're spending 10 hours a day and not feeding your family. Why not? Why not have like your own man cave with video games and pool and your desk there? Nobody should tell you not to do it or not, and nobody should make you feel bad because you're old. That guy was probably blowing off some steam. That guy probably couldn't sleep, so he logged on and started playing. So we'll see what happens. And we'll see where the video game thing goes, I guess. So in sports, I want to talk about Ezekiel Elliott. If you guys don't know who he is, and I'm going to start talking more about football as the season starts. Like come August, you get those mini camps and you get like free agents signing here and there, and then you get the preseason games where you see the guys that are going to make the team or not. And I love all this shit. Amazon just came out with the All In, and it has Cam Newton's Carolina Panthers, and it's such a good show. Like you're watching, you might hate these players, but if you watch their day to day, you're gonna understand, and you're gonna be like, damn, like that's a new perspective from who I thought they were. I thought they were just some cocky fucking athlete, but you see the work they put in, and you see how the pieces have to move. And I think Amazon did a good thing. It's like Hard Knocks, but Hard Knocks focuses on the before the season starts. Amazon focuses as the season goes through. So you see them fail and win, and you got to watch it. So if you have Amazon Prime, check out All In. I love that show. They have the Cowboys, they have the Carolina Panthers, and I think they also have the St. Louis Rams. So if you want to watch preseasons of that, that's awesome. But today I want to talk about Ezekiel Elliott. And if you guys don't know who he is, he's the running back for the Cowboys. And he's just a beast. I mean, the dude can run the ball, but the out of the field controversies, like pulling the girl's shirt down and that whole getting arrested at EDC thing, makes him a liability. And when you're a liability, they're looking to trade you for the value that you have. And given that you're a running back, the position that takes the most hits and like the most damage in the game, from high school, college to professional, you're worn out. So your lifespan in the NFL isn't that big, right? It's not that long. I would say a good running back has maybe 13 years. And that's pretty long. Like you're talking about Adrian Peterson, other running backs, maybe. I know NFL players average 3 years in the NFL, right? The guys that are mediocre, maybe aren't that great of a star. But I would say a running back that's being used when you don't have a receiving game, you're looking at 7 years. And Ezekiel Elliott is, I think, into his 4th or 5th year, and he has 2 more years left on his contract with the Cowboys, and he said he's sitting out for the training camps, and he's doing things that somebody like a Tom Brady could do. Obviously, Tom Brady doesn't do that, but he's doing things that he can't. He has no room to do. He has all these controversies outside of the field, and then for him to act like a diva just gives him more motive to trade him. And I know he's coming up on a good contract, and to him it might seem like they need him because the Cowboys receiving game isn't that great, but at the end of the day, it's a business, and Jerry Jones is the best at that business, and Jerry Jones might see it as a liability instead of an asset and trade his ass. And I find it interesting that for somebody who has so many problems outside of the field, yes, he's a great talent, but he's not looking at the bigger picture where it's your lifespan in the NFL isn't that long. So for you to cause more problems on top of the off-field problems, you're fucking yourself up way more. And the only reason I'm passionate about this story is because I love the Cowboys. I love Dak Prescott. I used to be a fan of Dez till they traded him, and it's America's team. They make every single game exciting, I guess you could say. And I was rooting for Dak Prescott because when he replaced Tony Romo, everybody said it was a mistake. They said Tony Romo was better, and you get this kid who just took the league by storm, and I became a fan. So to see his running back causing more problems just kind of adds on to, do they have enough firepower in the wide receiver thing? Do they have a good offensive line? I know their defense is good, but their offensive line is just not the greatest. So we'll see what happens. I'll keep you guys updated. I'm sure. I would say the Cowboys this season are gonna go nine wins, maybe squeak into the playoffs. I love to see the Cowboys in the playoffs, and I love to see the Bears in the playoffs if we could get a good kicker. But I'm gonna talk more about my Bears when it comes time to that. When we're actually in the season, and I'm excited. Like everybody else, you're excited to see. I love football. I think baseball is the most boring sport in the world. I love going to the games, but watching it is terrible. I love football. It comes down to maybe a field goal or a touchdown, and it's like game winning drives, and you're seeing all these great hits. I love it. I mean, so I'm excited to see what's going to happen this NFL season, and I'll talk way more about that as the season comes closer. So maybe in a month or so. And other news, Frankie Edgar and Max Holloway are going to fight this weekend, and I think they're fighting in Canada. Now, my prediction is going to be that Max Holloway wins. He just came off a loss from Dustin Poirier at 155, and I know that Frankie is a legend and Frankie Edgar is a tank. This guy just goes granite chin, goes straight in. It's going to be a good fight because both of them love to trade. But I think where Max Holloway pulls away from Frankie Edgar is his skill level. He did beat Aldo twice. His last loss was to, other than Dustin Poirier, was to Conor McGregor. And then he went on like a 9-fight there. So I'm going to pick Max Holloway to win this fight, but it's going to be a close one and it's going to be insane. And like I've always said, in the fight game, you never know what's going to happen. Just to put this in there, I don't really want to talk about it because I hated on it so much, but because I thought it was just like a one-sided fight. But the Manny Pacquiao versus Thurman, I thought Thurman was just going to fuck him up. I thought Manny Pacquiao was too old. He's 40 years old, and Thurman had never lost, so I just thought it was going to be too much for Manny Pacquiao to handle. And then he knocked him down in the first round with 30 seconds left. And I didn't even watch the fight. We were at the street, and there was this club downtown in Chicago, and they had the fight going on there. And I just saw Manny Pacquiao following. He was putting the pressure on Thurman, and I knew something had gone wrong. I told my girlfriend, I was like, oh, somebody hit him. Like he cracked him because this guy's not fighting his fight, which would be a pressure puncher that goes forward. And he was backing up because he knew he got rocked. And when you get rocked, you're not offensive, you're defensive, and you're running back. And Manny was putting the pressure. So in the fight game, you never know what's gonna happen. So I can make a prediction and say that Max Holloway is gonna win, but I don't know that at all. So we'll see what happens. I'm picking Max Holloway. If you like the UFC, you should definitely watch. They also have Cyborg versus Felicia, something like that. I forgot her. I'm spacing on her last name, but I know Cyborg is just like Amanda Nunes. She loves to punch. She loves to fight. So we'll have to see what happens there. So that's all I have for sports right now, and I'll touch more into the NBA as the season goes on. Definitely the NFL, and as always, I'm going to talk about the fights that are coming up in the UFC. So comment on things that you want me to talk about. Maybe you want me to talk about the Laker roster or LeVar Ball's like dying company. So comment on anything you guys want me to talk about. I get more Snapchats than comments, so it'd be easier for me to read the comments. So just comment down below. Let me know what you guys want me to talk about. And each Thursday, I'll be doing like a fan submission where I'll talk about something a fan wanted to talk about, or bring a fan wanted me to bring up. So I'll do that. So now to the latest topics I want to talk about. First and foremost, everybody, if you see my immigration video, you know where I stand with the immigration. There's news that came out of New York that said that undocumented immigrants were going to be allowed to have their license, not only is it gonna add more revenue because of the fees they're gonna charge to for them to get a license, it's also gonna help families stay together, and also it's gonna help people who are documented get to the jobs that they're working here. And when it comes to immigration, people are saying my thoughts on them getting licensed. I think it's great. I think if you have a problem with it, you're not looking at the picture for what it is. These immigrants are here anyways. These immigrants are they're gonna come whether you like it or not, whether you build a wall or you ramp up your security. People are gonna find a way to get in and out of the United States. So while they're here, wouldn't you want them to contribute? Wouldn't you want them to push their way, pay their taxes? I mean, there is a fee getting charged to these people getting a license. If you're gonna get a license, you're gonna get a car, and if you get a car, then you got to pay a registration fee. So all these things add up to your community. All these things, all this money goes into you not having to pay as much taxes. So I don't see anything wrong with it. It's not going to go through because one senator or a governor or somebody who was passing this law noticed that maybe the federal government could weaponize this income of immigrants and track them down. So I think they're gonna veto the law and rewrite it so the federal government cannot look at the illegal immigrants that have a license and track them down to their house and deport them or whatever the case may be. But as far as people getting their license, you got to look at it like this. The government's always going to do what's in the benefit of the government. If it can make that money, they're going to be all for it. So the fees they're charging, the registration fees they're charging, the taxes on the car, the taxes on the jobs they have, the taxes on gas they're going to get, it all goes back into the state and it all goes back into your community. So if you have a problem with it, you're not looking at the picture. You're letting your bias beliefs dictate it, because if you're not looking at the bigger picture, you're saying now they're giving them license like it's such a bad thing. But is it really bad? They're here already. They're already here. You could try to kick them out, but you can't kick them all out. It's like Area 51. They can't stop them all, right? Like immigrants are going to be here as long as you live, after you're gone, and for your children. They're always going to be here. America is a place where immigrants are attracted to, so it's going to happen. And so accepting that fact and then seeing the benefit, using these immigrants for the benefit to better your community or the state, I think is a win-win for everybody. And hopefully they fix that. But that's pretty much my thoughts on immigrants getting licensed. Just be ready to see a bunch of Hondas and makeshift Toyotas. You know, they're not the richest people, so be ready to see them. They might be even better drivers. I've seen some white ladies and they look like they're full-blooded Americans and they suck ass at driving. So I'm sure there's good drivers. I'm sure there's bad drivers, but just get ready for a bunch of Hondas and Toyotas and whatever other cars getting sold in the second market hand, right? Other than that, Rick and Morty is coming out with their fourth season. If you know me, I love Rick and Morty. I got a Morty right there from like season 2. I think I have like 3 shirts that are Rick and Morty, and I'm excited to see what's gonna happen with that. If you go on their Instagram, you could check out like maybe 10 seconds of their new season. But my friend was telling me it should come out in December, so I gotta wait. But that gives me enough time to rewatch the old seasons, and I love it because Rick and Morty, if you don't know what it is, it's like this cartoon show on Adult Swim, and it's like a blend of it's like a smart Family Guy with futuristic ideologies, I guess you could say, and just the way the jokes and the humor they have, it's all well done, and I love watching this fucking show. It's like a fucking it's like a pop culture kind of thing. It's like it's making that like The Simpsons or Family Guy. It's crossing over to more than just a show. And on that, I watched The Lion King, and same shit. It's just real. You're just seeing a bunch of lions. I mean, looks pretty cool, but I knew what was gonna happen, so I wasn't. I don't know these Disney movies with their now we're gonna put live action people in there. It's the same shit. Like if you want to watch The Lion King, but you don't want to go to the theater, just watch the old one. Same thing. It's literally like picture for picture the same thing. The giraffes going up, fucking Scar being a snake ass bitch and killing Mufasa. And I know a couple scars in my life, but a couple backstabbing motherfuckers, you know what I mean? So it's the same thing. I think if they're gonna remake it, at least make like the end like different, I guess. Like put a fucking plot twist in the movie. I'm not gonna watch it's like nostalgia where you're watching as a kid, you're like, oh man, I remember watching this, but once that's gone, you're like, oh fuck, I remember watching this, and it's just the same shit over again. It's like watching, if you didn't like The Lion King as a kid, you're not gonna like it now because it's the same fucking thing. It's just real animals. But there's some cool parts, like I know Seth Rogen is Timon or Pumbaa. I don't know, I can't tell which one's which. But yeah, he was pretty funny. So I'm running out of time. I bought a camera that literally only shoots 30 minutes, and I'm not trying to shoot another video, so I'm gonna end it there. But I'm definitely back. I'll put another episode on Thursday and so on. I just got to get better at managing my time. And again, thank you to everybody who supports the channel. And if you haven't subscribed or liked, please do that, and just share the video if you like it and you think your friends are gonna like it. Share the video, let everybody know what's up, and thank you.